Hey, what's up, mortals? It's Keishan VA here with a new video for you. Welcome to Season 2, Part 3 of What If Deku Was Taskmaster. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. Once the fight between Izuku and Todoroki had concluded, the green-haired teen received a roar of applause for besting the top recommended student. A large portion of the audience began believing that he could win it all and sent down several cheers. However, in contrast to the cheery atmosphere, the boy stood silent and still in the middle of the battle area. After some moments, he turned and left for the tunnel without celebrating. He eventually arrived at a seat, where an energetic Uraraka congratulated him on his convincing win.
Awesome work out there! You're one step closer to the finals!
Ignoring her kind words, Midoriya's mind immediately jumped to the soft whimpers he heard from her before he went to face Shoto. Oh, thanks. Are you still upset about your fight?
I already told you I'm fine! Besides, now's no time to worry about me. Just focus on your next match. Oh, speaking of which, now it's Ida versus Shiozaki.
She said, turning the boy's attention to the fighters below.
So which one do you hope wins?
I don't know. Either one's fine, I guess. The teen appeared to be lost in thought, and Ochako decided to question him about it.
You don't look like someone who just made it to the semis. What's wrong?
My match felt weird, like it was too easy. Uraraka's eyebrow raised in confusion as she questioned further.
Huh? What's that mean?
During the cavalry battle, Todoroki showed impeccable decision-making skills. He even thought up a plan that completely took us off guard.
Yeah, and we still beat his team and finished first thanks to your boots, so it's not impossible for you to beat him.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that the way it happened feels off. Did you see what he did when I trapped him?
Yeah, he made an ice platform.
Exactly. Why would he do that?
Because you trapped him?
No, I mean, why'd he use ice instead of his fire? He could have melted the surrounding ice and launched a counterattack simultaneously.
I mean, sure, but he still got out, so it's not like his plan failed.
True, but after that, when I broke his platform, he just let himself fall towards the ground. Why not propel himself with his flames, just like his dad?
Izuku,
She gently said while placing her arm on his shoulder.
aren't you overthinking this just a little bit? I mean, didn't you say your boots let you move faster than Ida?
Well, yeah, and?
And when Ida's speed helped take our 1 million point headband, none of us could react to it. So if you're even faster than that, do you really think Todoroki could have reacted in time to use his fire?
Well, when you put it that way, I guess not.
Exactly. Now just enjoy your win and get ready for your next match.
You're right. Thanks, Ochako. The two then turned their eyes back to the battle area and prepared to watch Tenya Ida and Abara Shiozaki fight for the right to face Izuku in the semifinals. All right, let the battle begin, Midnight announced as Ida immediately dashed toward his enemy and gently pushed her out of bounds. Huh, well, that was fast. The winner of this matchup is Tenya Ida. It seems Ida wasn't willing to take any chances with her quirk. That makes sense. I probably would have done the same.
Awesome! Now that Ida's your next opponent, it should be an easy win. You're faster.
Let's hope so. Oh, look, Izuku excitedly said while pointing to the stage. Now it's time for Tokiyami and Ashida's fight. Ochako crossed her fingers as she said,
I really hope he wins.
Don't worry. As long as he fights the way he usually does, he's got this. Mina Ashido and Fumikage Tokiyami stared at one another as Midnight signaled for them to begin their match. Mina tried to close in, but Dark Shadow made it impossible. The girl desperately shot some acid to keep the shadowy creature at bay, but this proved pointless as it continued a relentless assault that eventually led to the girl being sent out of bounds. The winner of this match and our third semifinalist, Fumikage Tokiyami. The crowd applauded the boy's easy win as he returned to his seat. Once he arrived, his two friends congratulated him before he prepared to analyze the fight between Bakugo and Kirishima to form a contingency plan for both of his potential opponents. The battle between the two was hard fought, but Bakugo eventually came out on top by slowly chipping away at Kirishima's hardening. This made Tokiyami a little uneasy, anticipating that he'd do something similar against him.
Got any ideas?
He asked while turning to the Grenette, hoping that the large amount of experience that he had dealing with his foe would present some sort of winning idea. Honestly, I've got nothing. His quirk's a perfect counter for Dark Shadow. The bird-headed teen disappointedly slumped into his chair upon hearing this. Oh well, at least I made it to the semis. Hopefully I get picked up by a good pro. Ochako disapproved of her friends seemingly giving up and tried to make them think more positively.
Why are you acting like Bakugo's already won? When I fought him, you two were way more supportive.
Well, that's different. For one, you're more athletic, and two, Bakugo's quirk doesn't automatically cancel out yours, unlike Tokiyami's. And don't forget that crazy explosion he showed off at the end of her fight. Even if I managed to drag things out, there's no way Dark Shadow would have enough strength left to protect me from that,
Well, it's obviously not going to be easy, but you've got to at least try.
she said as she placed her arm on Tokiyami's shoulder.
You and Izuku tried to cheer me on before I fought him, even though the odds were against me. So I'm not going to let you go out there thinking you're going to lose. There's got to be some strategy we can use.
Actually, Izuku said, stroking his chin,
You've thought of something. There's a way to win?
it's risky, but it's not like Tokiyami has any other alternatives. What do you have in mind? Well, as you said, even if you somehow drag on the fight, there's no way Dark Shadow will have any strength left. So if that's the case, then you have to keep the fight as short as possible. Preferably, you should end the fight in a couple of hits by charging straight at him with Dark Shadow. His friend looked confused as he said, So you want me to send Dark Shadow, the quirk that gets weaker with too much light, straight at the guy who's like a walking flash grenade? Hey, I said it's risky, but it's probably the only thing you can do. The longer the fight goes, the worse it gets for you. Bakugo may not look it, but he's clever, and given the time, he will figure out your weakness. Then he'll slowly chip away at you like he did to Kirishima. If you want to win, then going full steam ahead from the start is your best bet. I suppose you're right, but what about the explosion he used against Uraraka? As far as he knows, Dark Shadow is invincible. So what's stopping him from immediately trying to blow me out of the ring? I wouldn't worry about that. Remember when we ran into him after the fight? Yeah, what about it? He was clutching his right arm, and it looked like he was heading towards Recovery Girl's office. I'm about 90% sure that there's no way he could have leveled up so fast, and that he used that explosion just because Ochako backed him into a corner. Think about it. If he had that much firepower, why chip away at Kirishima instead of just blasting him out of the ring? He could probably even do it at point-blank range, without risking disqualification because of Kirishima's durability, so you don't need to worry about a massive attack. All right then, I suppose I have a plan. Oh, and remember this. No matter how tired Dark Shadow gets, keep charging forward. There's no point in trying to play it safe when you won't be able to recharge. Got it. Let's hope this works. Izuku lifted his arm for a fist pump as he said, Make sure to meet me in the finals, okay? Will do, Fumikage stated as he reciprocated the fist pump. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. With the services Skillshare provides, you can get access to many in-depth tutorial videos on basically anything you want to learn. Each class that they have is bound to help you with your creative endeavors. Do you want to learn how to make videos like this one? Do you want to learn how to write scripts or edit audio? Skillshare's got you covered. And with our link, you can have a 14-day free trial. So what are you waiting for? Click the link now and get 14 days worth of classes free. Link in description below. As more time passed, Izuku and Tokiyami stood to leave and prepare for their upcoming battles, but an announcement by midnight interrupted them. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that Tenya Ida will no longer participate in the sports festival due to a personal emergency. As such, Izuku Midoriya automatically progresses to the finals. Izuku was somewhat disappointed by the news since he anticipated a rather enjoyable fight that would help him stock up on new moves. That sucks, but I hope he's okay. Tokiyami turned his back to his friends as he made his way to the waiting room. Well, since you and Ida aren't fighting, my match will happen much sooner, so I'm gonna go get ready.
Good luck. Remember what Izuku told you.
The boy gave a thumbs up as he departed. He and Bakugo had roughly 10 minutes to prepare, and it was finally time for them to take the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the semi-final matchup between Fumikage Tokiyami and Katsuki Bakugo. The two Class A students have done exceptionally well to represent their class, and are now just one win away from facing Izuku Midoriya in the final. They stared at the stage as they awaited the battle. Izuku and Uraraka held their breath for the unlikely victory of their friend, but they were suddenly interrupted by a familiar voice.
Hey there!
The two were startled out of their seats. May! Where'd you come from?
Well, my class was kind of boring, and since you guys have an extra seat now, I thought I'd join you. But aren't we supposed to stay with our classes? Won't you get in trouble? Don't worry. I asked my teacher for permission. Anyways, how are the boots doing, Izuku?
Oh, they're fine. They're working better than expected, so I guess I won't have to use my other gear after all.
Wait, you're not going to use your other gear?
Uraraka asked in confusion.
I thought you were saving them for the final.
I was, but not necessarily for the final. I was saving my other gear in case my boots got damaged or malfunctioned. I never really wanted to use my other stuff. I wanted to give these boots a proper test, and so they're passing with flying colors.
Awesome! It looks like your fight with Bakugo will be a piece of cake. Hey, that's not fair. You can't just immediately assume that Tokiyami's gonna lose. Wait a sec. I thought he had a weakness to light or something. Well, yeah, he does. But he can win if he does what Izuku told him.
Not necessarily, Izuku interjected. The plan he's executing is simply the best option available. There's no real guarantee of success, considering how good Bakugo's reaction time is. It's very likely he can bypass Dark Shadow's assault and go straight for Tokiyami. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if he took the safe route and let Dark Shadow tire out.
Oh no! Why didn't you tell him that?
Because there's no point in telling him.
What? But
if he wants to win, he has to throw all caution to the wind. The second he takes his foot off the gas and focuses on defense, he's already lost. As he said this, Tokiyami and Bakugo came face to face in the fighting area. The emerald-eyed teen leaned slightly forward with hands clasped together in the hope of his friend's win. The battle commenced, and, just as Izuku had told him, Tokiyami commanded Dark Shadow to rush at Bakugo. Die! The blonde shouted while swiping at the dark creature with an explosion to keep it at bay. It worked momentarily, but the creature quickly recollected itself and attacked again, this time from another angle. Katsuki dodged the assault as Dark Shadow started to surround the boy. He propelled himself into the air and rapidly threw explosions at Dark Shadow. You've gotta be kidding! Does this thing not feel pain? Is it invincible? As the blonde struggled to find a way to win, Tokiyami started to get a little nervous. I've managed to push him back, but Dark Shadow can't lay a finger on him. He's too fast, and to make things worse, Dark Shadow is taking quite a bit of damage. He can't take much more. Tokiyami and his quirk continued to push forward for the win, but the moment the bird-headed teen feared had finally arrived. Dark Shadow moved in to grab Bakugo's leg to throw him off balance, but he easily evaded and landed an explosion. But unlike before, Dark Shadow could not shake off the attack and fearfully retreated. Oh no! Izuku exclaimed. I think Dark Shadow's at its limit. Bakugo had also managed to pick up on this. He thought while lunging forward to connect with an explosion as the dark beast retreated even further. Oh, I get it. It's running out of steam. That means it's time to do some real damage! Die! He thought as he began throwing blasts far more ferocious than anything he had displayed earlier. Dark Shadow was pushed further and further back until Tokiyami finally recalled him, which led to Bakugo tackling him to the ground. Any last words? The bird-headed teen simply placed his head to the ground as he softly said, You win. I surrender. And thus their battle had reached its end, with Bakugo being confirmed to face Izuku in the finals of the sports festival. Midnight made the announcement as Fumikage picked himself up and made his way to his seat.
Sorry about that, Tokiyami, but you put up a great fight,
Ochiko said in an attempt to cheer up her friend, although he quickly assured her that there was no need for that. I knew it was an uphill battle from the start, so I'm not too torn up about it, he calmly stated while taking a seat. I just wish I could have done more to win. As these words left his mouth, the brunette turned to Izuku.
Make sure you win, okay? You gotta avenge me and Tokiyami.
I'm not after any retribution, but good luck out there.
Do your best, Izuku. There's no way you're losing.
At the sound of his friend's kind words, the emerald-eyed boy smiled as he said, Thanks a lot, guys. With you cheering, I'll definitely win. Izuku got up and left for the waiting room to do some stretches and check his boots to ensure they were still in pristine condition. Some more minutes passed until it was time for the finalists to make their way to the stage. Both boys took deep breaths before walking through the tunnel to face their opponent. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the final battle of the first-year portion of the sports festival. And what a battle it's shaping up to be! These two have not only put in utterly stunning performances to make it this far, but also seem tied together by fate. The two came from the same middle school, achieved the two highest scores in the entrance exam, got drafted to the same class, and now face off in the final of their first ever sports festival. The two seemingly inseparable rivals have fought many times before, but who do you think will win this battle? The crowd began belting out massive cheers in Izuku's favor. Though meant to encourage him to win, they had little effect on the green-haired boy as he thought, I can't tell if they actually like me or just really hate Bakugo. A few seconds passed as the competitors began to tune out the crowd and glare at one another without a single word being uttered. Both boys simply leaned forward, preparing to go all out from the start as the umpire signaled for the fight to start. May the battle between Izuku Midoriya and Akatsuki Bakugo begin! Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to say if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has got you covered. Our We the Celestials My Hero Academia and Naruto What If YouTube channels retell the story of the anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation for you to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching. Have a great day.